our series of interviews of licensed LLTs. And today we have a new, well, not a new, we have another licensed LLT. Please introduce yourself and where you're located.
Hi, my name is Jeanne Barrans, and I am located in Everett, Washington.
All right. And what is your LLT number and when were you admitted?
I was admitted to practice in June of 2016, and my LLT number is 114.
114. Okay. So it's been a while. You've been doing this a minute at this point.
I've been doing this a minute as a LLT, much longer as a paralegal.
Right. And so where are you if you can share, where are you currently employed, and why did you choose this type of employment?
Okay, well, I work for a law firm called Brewery Lehman, and we're in Everett primarily. We do have a Seattle office and also a Mount Vernon office. I work in the Everett office. I did go down to Seattle once, and that was enough. So I stay here in town pretty much. But I decided to work in a firm because I like the idea of having attorneys there if I have a question or something comes up out of scope. And then just having, the forms there that are approved by Washington attorneys is really helpful. It just was my preference to work in a law firm.
Okay, yeah, I got it. And so now, did you, you've been in the legal field for quite some time. Did you go to school to become a LLT, and then for how long? If you did?
Yes, to become a LLT, I had to take 1 year of the practice area courses because I was able to get the waiver because I was already a certified professional paralegal.
I'm going to stop you really quick because we're just going to assume that these people don't know what the waiver is. So if you could explain that really quickly.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So there are steps to take to become a LLT, and the first group of classes are called the core classes, and that is learning about how the court system works, and the federal court system and the state court system and various other things. Kind of like if I hadn't worked in the field at all, I might need those, or didn't have the experience that I have or the certification that I have, I might need those classes so that they would know that I would understand how all of that stuff works, and research and various other classes. But the practice area classes are related specifically to the area in which you're licensed, which currently is family law, is the only licensed area. And so I took 1 year of family law classes, and then I was able to apply to take the exam and pass the exam.
And the waiver is something that you got because you have to have a certain amount of experience.
Oh, yes, you have to have a certain amount of experience or certification of some sort. And I have a professional certification through NALS that basically told them that I already have the knowledge that was included in the core classes, so I didn't need to take those. I could move right on to the practice area classes.
Okay. And do you have any other education besides the education you've taken for the LLT?
Yes, I have an associate's degree from many moons ago. In the 1970s, actually. I have an associate's degree in applied arts and sciences.
All right. Okay. All right. And so you had, how many hours of substantive law experience did you have to have in order to get your license?
3,000.
All right. And how did you obtain those hours? So
I was working in a firm at the time in Everett, and the attorney that I worked for, I had worked for 10 years. In another firm, and then we moved to the new firm and opened that up. And she agreed to sign the acknowledgement that I had 3,000 hours of substantive law related work. That means things, not just filing things in somebody's file, for example, but research and drafting pleadings and that kind of thing. So she was able to do that for me.
Okay. And it sounds like what you said, you'd worked for her for 10 years. So how long have you actually been in working in law?
Well, since about 1978, could be 77.
So
It was
you've been doing
a
this a minute.
long time, so yeah,
Yeah.
40 plus years, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you definitely have the 3,000 substantive hours by far at that point. Okay, got
And
it.
all of that in family law.
All of that in
All
family.
of that
Oh,
in family law.
wow.
For a while, we had an attorney who also did criminal defense, but that, family law, I just loved it. So,
Yeah. How many attorneys have you trained in family law? Just wondering.
how many have I trained? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
the answer to that.
All right. I know when I was script there, I was just wondering, you probably have trained quite a few how to do whatever they're doing in family law. So what, if you had been working as a paralegal that long, what made you want to become a triple LT? I mean, you've been doing paralegal work.
Right. I still do paralegal work sometimes, but I really wanted to be able to help people more. And I knew that because I had the experience and I'd been in the system for long enough that I could see the huge need that there was, particularly in family law, other areas as well, but family law, there is just so much work to do that people can't afford to do because they're dividing their income now between two households. Attorneys are vastly expensive, and quite frankly, I don't think people always need attorneys. Sometimes they just need help drafting documents. Sometimes they've already reached an agreement and they don't even want to know if you think it's a good agreement or not. They just want you to put it down on paper for them. And so I wanted to be able to do that and to help them at a reasonable cost.
And well, it's interesting that you said that about attorneys. Now you said you're still a paralegal. So you work with attorneys obviously every day. And what do you think about attorneys? There's sort of this false knowledge that triple LTs don't like attorneys or
No,
whatever.
I don't think that that's true from the triple LTs that I know. We have to have good relationships with attorneys because there are frequently things that come up that are out of scope, or maybe a client just wants an attorney to appear with them in court and actually argue their case, as opposed to just responding to questions from the commissioner, which is what a triple LT can do. And sometimes they're just more comfortable having an attorney with them. Or sometimes, there's an issue that might come up, like the transfer of real property that has a value greater than a triple LT can advise a client about. We're limited in the amount that we can advise them as to the distribution. And so it's nice to just have those attorneys available to say, hey, here's the circumstances. Would you want to talk to this client so that you can advise them on a good, fair and equitable distribution of this asset that because it's out of my scope. And they've been happy to do that. So I appreciate that.
Okay. So do you think that triple LTs and attorneys work well together overall?
I do generally. I think that there's sort of a misconception sometimes, attorneys that don't work with triple LTs directly, but once they've had the opportunity to work with them, I mean, I'm talking about attorneys outside of my firm, for example, because they know me and they know what I do and they know my work. But there are many firms that don't have triple LTs, and until they have the experience of working with a triple LT on the other side of a case, they don't always know how that's going to work out. And so it's kind of a learning experience on all sides, but I've had a lot of positive feedback from attorneys that previously had been unsure about the triple LT program. So.
Oh, terrific. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. What do you think is the most rewarding thing about being a triple LT in general?
I mean, just being able, the reason I like family law is because I get to really feel like I'm helping people, I'm making a difference. What they're going through it's an emotional process frequently, especially if there are children involved. And it's a very difficult time for them. And I just feel like I'm able to help them kind of through the legal aspect of that. Because I mean, that's what I'm trained for, is to be able to help them with the legal process. I'm not a therapist, but at least if they can take the legal aspect of it off of their plates and or have somebody to assist them with that, that's just a big emotional relief for them, I think. And so that's
Right.
what I like to do. I just like feeling like I helped somebody.
Right. And now on that, do you feel like LLTs, having them available, do you think that in your experience creates additional access to justice in
Oh,
general?
absolutely, 100%. I almost every single one of my clients, there've been a couple that could afford to hire an attorney, chose not to, but for the most part, I'd say 95% of them will say there's just no way that they can pay what an attorney wants to charge. And frequently they can't pay the advance fee. Often they don't have family members that are able to help them with the fees. And, you know, attorney fees can add up really quickly at $300, $400 an hour. And yeah, they're able to get through without having to take out a mortgage on their house. That's just a relief to them.
Right. Right. It's expensive and it's already a terrible time, right?
It's already a terrible time.
They're already having a bad day, right? Do you think there are any downsides to, I mean, you know, why LLT instead of an attorney? Why do you think there's any downsides to being a LLT?
I don't think there's any downsides. Well, I don't know. I have to think about that one. Is that on the list?
Yeah, there it is. It's at the bottom.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't know that there really are any downsides, except for that when you get to a situation where there's something that comes up that's out of scope. And then, you know, and the LLT that you're working with is limited in what she or he can do. And then you may have to consult with an attorney, but I don't think that that's a downside to having a LLT really. It's just, it still limits the amount that you're having to pay out of pocket for your legal services by far. So I don't know that really is a downside. No.
And it's huge for you because you work in a family law firm. So you could just literally go talk to somebody down the hall or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? If you.
And I do.
Yeah. All the time.
Yes, all the time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know. I have a joke here with one of the attorneys at my firm. Like I'm like a cat at his door. I'm like, scratch, scratch, scratch. It's me again at your door. If you were gonna tell the public, I mean, what would you like the public to know about this program or this license? If you were gonna sort of tell anybody anything about it, what would you like them to know?
I have told people about it. I've told pretty much everybody I know about the program. And what I would like to tell them is it offers a way for folks, primarily folks who can't afford the cost of an attorney, to still get some legal advice and assistance by qualified, trained individuals who are licensed and regulated, and they don't have to do it all on their own. That there's help out there, and it's the legal technicians, and that's primarily what it's for. That doesn't mean this, as I've said, I've had a couple of clients who could afford to pay for an attorney but simply chose not to. You know, for whatever reason, and that's okay too, because maybe they just needed somebody to fill out these forms that are pages and pages long and they don't understand them, and that's fine. But yeah, I just think it's a tremendous program to reduce the cost of legal services overall and to allow people to have access to justice that wouldn't otherwise have it, probably.
One more question, because I'm going to kind of go off script a little bit. If you were going to say something to the Supreme Court regarding this, their decision to sunset the program, is there anything that you would like them to know about your practice or being a LLT?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they've they should be aware, because I believe that we've all told them in no uncertain terms, that there is a huge need for affordable legal services in the family law arena, many others as well, but that happens to be the one that I'm familiar with. And that need is not going to be met. And sunsetting the LLLT program without having even any idea of how to replace it is ridiculous. And Washington State was the first state in the union to adopt this program. And I was really, really proud of our state for doing that. Now, many other states are coming on board and they're picking up this ball and they're saying, hey, look, we have a need for affordable legal services in our community also. Let's do something with this. And then Washington State says, for no valid reason that I can see, well, we don't think this program is working and we're just going to sunset it. I just think that it was not thought out at all. There's nothing to replace that. How is that need going to be met? We're still not able to meet the need even with the legal technician program, but at least we can make a dent, even if it's a small dent. That dent will get bigger as more and more people get licensed. If they don't allow people to continue to train, what you're going to have are people out there who are practicing law without a license, that are unregulated, untrained, unlicensed, and that's a danger to the community, in my opinion.